to another great episode of Real Life Matters. Before we start the episode, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, DBoss Networks, and you can subscribe to the people and the guests that come on. Also support them, please. With no other further ado, I have a lady here, and she is a recording artist, singer, Cantorial soloist, philanthropist, beauty consultant, bookkeeper, business owner, professional, and a lead podcaster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce to you, because we have so much to talk about, BflyLadyDi.
Hello! Hello from Miami, where it's warm.
I don't know if people want to hear that right now. BflyLadyDi. I notice you have it on your t-shirt. It's a nice t-shirt.
Thank you. This is my long sleeve. I also have sleeveless. We're working the merchandise.
Oh, you have merchandise that you sell.
Well, I don't sell it yet, but anybody who wants one, I'll certainly get it to you.
Okay, so can you tell everybody, BflyLadyDi, where you come from?
Well, my real name is Diane Travelli, and I was born and raised in Somerset, New Jersey, where I know it's cold. So I can empathize with everyone who's really suffering in those sub-0 degrees and all the snowstorms. But I am from New Jersey originally, and I moved to Florida when I was 21, and I never went back except to visit a few times.
Well, you can't totally divorce us.
No, I won't divorce you. Matter of fact, I have a big link with Canada, so we can talk about that too.
All right. So can you tell me how you came up with your name, BflyLadyDi?
I would love to. It's kind of a long story short. So BflyLadyDi is short for Butterfly Lady Diane. And I came up with that because I've always wanted to record. And through a lot of processes going through life and finally ending up to where I could record my songs, I needed a stage name. And everybody knows me as the Butterfly Lady because my daughter, who passed away, she and I always used to do butterfly gardening together. And I was living in Coconut Creek, Florida, which is the butterfly capital of the world. And it's a Florida state statute in the city of Coconut Creek, where they are housing Butterfly World. And so we have a connection with them. And I just thought that the Butterfly Lady would fit what I would like to do, because I incorporate my love of butterflies, I incorporate my philanthropy and my music, and all of those together make up BflyLadyDi. And you know the expression that you want to be fly?
Literally for you, it means exactly that.
That's right.
So tell us about, I'm sorry to hear the passing of your daughter and stuff. So is that something that you did? You raised, or you breeded the butterflies, or what did you do?
Yes, when my daughter was 5, I had just had my son, and I wanted to come up with a mommy and me project, and she had just gone to Butterfly World on a kindergarten field trip. She came home so excited, mommy, these butterflies, and we can raise them in our garden. And so we went to this workshop, and we learned how to do it, and they put her on their gardening video, so she became a little star of her own. Wow. And every time we went back to Butterfly World to pick up plants or to pick up more gardening tips, she would get to see herself on the video. So that's what we started, raising butterflies from really the plant, and butterflies would come into our garden, and we didn't live very far from Butterfly World, so we thought we were getting a few from them, and they would lay their eggs, and we would just go through the whole cycle through caterpillar.
So when this happened, you have to get specific plants for butterflies because this is Real Life Matters, and you're telling people something I never even knew.
Well, yeah, and real life matters and people matter. I love the concept of your show, by the way. And I just want to, before we even dive into all of this, may I please just take a moment to thank you for having me on the show, and also to thank my big brother, Donnie Walker, for the connection, because without him, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. But
Right.
I thank you both. But anyway, yeah, butterfly gardening is a lot of fun, but there's a lot of knowledge involved. And there's specific plants that attract butterflies to come and lay their eggs. And then when they lay their eggs on those plants, they're called host plants. And those are the plants that the caterpillars will eat. But what attracts butterflies are red flowers and anything that will have nectar. So it's a nectar source plant that will hone them in because they need to eat. And then if you also have their host plant available, they will lay an egg there. So butterflies usually only live about 2 weeks or so for the most part. And in Florida here, yeah, they have a very short lifespan.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's very, very captivating to watch, the process between egg and caterpillar, and then the pupa stage where they're in the metamorphosis and then they emerge. That sometimes takes way longer than the life of the actual life of the butterfly itself.
So did you have to go to a course or something like that to learn that? Or
well, we did learn quite a bit from the butterfly world, because they do have gardening workshops and they teach you there. But we've done a lot of reading, and and then once it's just experimental and it's touch and go and touchy feely, and
so you still do it? You still do it even though you're not past? You still do it?
I have not been able to do it since I sold my home and moved. So there's nowhere for me to do it in my apartment right now. But I will be resuming as soon as I move and I'm able to do it, because I can't wait.
So what's the title that's called that when you raise butterflies? It's a lepidopterist.
Lepidopterist. It's a tongue twister. Say that 3 times real fast. No.
Or if you have a glass of wine or something.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you'd be getting a lot of different words.
Yeah. Well, I've had quite a few name experiences with BflyLadyDi too. I'm so happy you got it right.
All right. So let's talk about your recording artist, singer, Cantorial soloist. So how long have you been doing that?
I started out after right around the time that my daughter was going to pass away. I joined my temple. I'm Jewish, and I wanted to have a big connection with my faith. And I was going through such a hard time knowing that she was passing. And then after she did pass, I just felt this bigger connection to God. Obviously, I thought if I could be closer to God, maybe I can be closer to my daughter. And going through the grief process really helped me by joining a temple. And I never been religious in my life to that extent. I grew up in a traditional Jewish household. And when I started going to temple every Friday night, and mind you, my father had not been in a temple for more than 30 years or so.
What?
And he started to come with me again on the Friday nights, because he was so devastated as well from losing my daughter. And they have 10 grandchildren, my parents. And on a side note, I actually just lost my mom to pancreatic cancer. Oh my gosh,
sorry to hear that.
Thank you. So it's very, very difficult to, I didn't do interviews for the last 3 months. So, it was really, really hard. But I'm working through it, my grief. So that's Real Life Matters too, is grief, and I do a lot of grief counseling through my foundation. But as far as
foundation, that you do that too?
Yeah,
what
I
do. You do?
I wear a lot of hats. I mean, right now we're talking about music, and that'll tie into the foundation as well. It all ties in and encompasses itself, because being in the temple, someone heard me singing. I did not know one letter of Hebrew. I did not know one prayer.
What?
And I learned by ear. So after repeatedly going for a few weeks, I started to hear repetition. And it was written in English and a transliteration, and then Hebrew, which I didn't know how to read. But I started taking a course. And I started learning. So by
does your dad know? Your dad speaks Hebrew, right?
No, he doesn't. What? He knew probably 2 or 3 prayers that he remembered from his back in the day.
Oh.
It was
So
all a refresher.
so he obviously didn't pass anything down to you guys.
Not like that. In our family, again, it was more traditional. My brother, I come from 4 children. So my brother, my 2 sisters, and myself, and I'm the baby. And my brother was the only one who had a bar mitzvah. My other 2 sisters and I did not until I became an adult. And then I did. But they still did. But so I learned the music of the Jewish people, and within a few months, someone heard me sing because I felt confident enough to sing out, and they heard my voice. And the cantor is like a singing rabbi. She's really, he or she are the person who sing the prayers, and they bring the prayers of the congregation through song up to God. So that's the role of a cantor. And so she heard me singing, asked me to join the choir. And so I joined the choir. I loved it. It was a great outing. I got to go out and meet new people. And, and then I'm a very busy person. I'm very social. And I was the president.
Well, did they bother you because you guys were kind of, I guess, the rebellious Jews?
No, not
they
at all.
They didn't bother you like that? Okay, that's
not at all. They were very happy to, they embraced us because obviously I joined. So they were getting dues. That as long as you're putting something in the plate, so it was all fine. It was by choice. And but I just moved on from there, and I grew in the temple, becoming very active with them. I was on many committees, a lot of volunteer work, and over time I became the chairperson of the music department. I was performing solos every Friday. I ultimately became a leader when the rabbi and the cantor were not there. I would take over services for them for many, many years. And then politics came about, and the cantor left and the rabbi left. And, it just got messy.
So what kind of thing did you sing? Can you sing a little verse that you sang in the temple?
Sure. One of the most central prayers is called the Shema. And the Shema is really saying that God is one. Okay. So one of the central ones that we would do, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad. That's just a little sample.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Thank you. I have with the cantorial work and the choir work, my voice is pretty operatic. I can go and dive into, and I was trained at 16 years old with an opera singer in New York City for over a year. Yeah, that's how my start really came, because my parents heard me singing, "Have you never been mellow?" when I was like 10. I'm singing like Olivia Newton-John in the bathroom, and they're like, "Turn that down," and I'm like, "I can't," So they figured out that I had some pipes, and when I was about 16, they asked me, they took me to some person's house, and a friend of theirs out in Long Island. And it was a Thanksgiving party, and they had a man there that I believe was an agent of some type or someone in the business. And he was like, "So, my parents would pawn me off and ask me to go and sing at everybody's party." So they loved Barbara Streisand so much that, I became like the Way We Were, the evergreen girl, So they had asked me to sing that night, and this guy turns around and says, "Would you like some professional singing lessons?" And I was like, "Sure, where's this going to lead?" And he says, "Well, you never know. Might get you on Broadway or something." And I was like, "Oh," my parents were like, "Hey, let's go." So I went for the audition, and the lady said to me, "Do you want to sing a cappella or with accompaniment?" Well, so far, the only accompaniment I did was, in choir with other people. It wasn't real, or on the radio singing with other artists, So I just said to her, "I'll sing a cappella." And she was like, okay. So I sang Evergreen a cappella, and
So Evergreen,
kind of blew
who's
her away
Evergreen by? Who's Evergreen by?
by Barbara Streisand. Love, love is an easy chain. Love, love's like the morning air. One love that is shared by two, that I have found with you. So I just decided to
Wow,
do.
girl, you can sing, man.
Thank you.
You
I just
better get with some
decided
of
to
these
do,
people.
the acapella. So she said, "Okay, when do you want to start?" So yeah, I sang with her for about a year, year and a half. I did some showcases, and
Like
then
who?
all
Like
of
where?
a sudden,
Who did you perform with?
by myself, she had her own pianist there, and we did like lounges.
Oh,
So we were just doing some lounge showcases, and she had some other students, and she was just showcasing all of us in the city. So, then this manager she wanted me to do a big giant show for like 10 songs, and my parents were going to have, it was like a 10-piece band, and it was going to be 7 songs with 3 encores on, like they had the whole thing figured out. And my parents were going to pay like $5,000 to have all the songs scripted and charted just for me. And
wow.
then all of a sudden, before they did that, I chickened out. I
Mm.
chickened out. I froze, and I
Why?
was like,
What happened? You just said in your mind that can't be me doing this.
I just said I can't do it. My knees were knocking so bad on the little stage in front of 20 people in the lounge. I said, what am I gonna do? I was okay getting by with the singing part, but I was nowhere near social like I am now, and I was not about to be talking to an audience or speaking to people. I was scared to death.
Well,
And so
how
I
old were
just
you
told
then
my parents, I
when you
can't
did?
do this.
So how old were you then when you told your dad you don't think you can do this?
I was 17.
Wow. Yeah.
And they wanted, because right away, my coach was saying, yeah, I could get her up into the Catskill Mountains, and, she can be doing shows up in New York. And I didn't want to go to the Catskill Mountains. I wanted to stay in the city, and I wanted to sing like Whitney Houston, who was coming out. This was like 1982, 83.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I love R&B. What is all this stuff you're teaching me how to sing, like, show tunes and things like that, and I felt out of my element as well. And I wish that I
Okay.
really would have been able to take the next step and had the confidence. The one thing that
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely say this teacher taught me was like the book learned. She taught me the notes and the singing and the performing end of things. But she never really taught me how to be my own artist. I was
Oh.
a copycat singer. I
Mm.
could sing anybody. I could do covers, no problem, and sound just like them. But that's not developing your own.
Oh.
And
Okay.
that's really what I needed to do. But by that point at 17, I'm like, nah, forget this. I don't want to do this. I'm going to go to college and just get my accounting degree and just be a secretary somewhere. And that's pretty much what I did.
So you stopped you halted your career at that point, and then you just said, so what
I
made you
did.
come back?
Well, what made me come back was, again, after getting this confidence through the temple and all of my friends egging me on, we started to do some productions and fundraisers for the temple. And I was singing songs like At Last, and, just coming out with some great songs that we were doing for the shows. And it just made me want to record, which at that point, it leads me into like that time of my life, going through a divorce, meeting the love of my life, who happens to be very, very well-known musician, and his his brother is Eugene Wilde, the famous musician, like, ooh, baby, gotta
Eugene,
get you home with me tonight. Everybody knows that
that's it.
song.
That's your husband?
Eugene Wilde is my brother-in-law. Yeah.
Your brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I like that song.
Oh yeah.
I
Everybody's using that song right now for one reason or another. They're putting it behind their racks and all kinds of stuff. So he's doing very well. But Vince Broomfield is the love of my life. That is his brother, and he's my writer and producer. And at the time, we met in 1992 on a Christmas day. He was in a club, and my ex-husband and I were going out for, the evening, and we saw Vince and his band at the time. And we just, made a friendly connection um, over the course of a couple of years. We got in touch again a couple of times, and then finally on Facebook back in 2009, we, were reconnected again, and we were constantly having these reconnections. One thing led to the next, and he's divorced, I'm divorced, and we're together. So,
well, I guess that was fate, destiny.
it was fate. I said somebody sprinkled fairy dust on us on that Christmas night, So it wasn't our time then, but it's our time now. And so he was putting together an album that he wanted to put out. It was a smooth jazz album.
Okay.
And the label that he was with at the time had other projects they were doing, and it didn't work out, that they didn't work together. And I said, I'll help you. Because also I was just starting out with my foundation and my Children's Cancer Foundation in memory of my daughter. And I wanted to have music incorporated so I could sing songs at my fundraisers, and I could have like a cancer song. And that's when Vince and I really put our heads together. And I helped him release his smooth jazz album. He in turn wrote for me, and he let my son and I come in on the song Just Never Give Up, the Cancer Fight song. And that was back in 2016. So
how does that go? Can we get a piece of that song to hear it? Or something?
Just Never Give Up. I sent you all my songs, but Just Never Give Up. Come on and challenge yourself to get up and fight. Keep a positive mind, it's gonna be alright. Just keep on battling with all of your might and stomp that cancer out. Woo!
Woo! Well, I want people to go listen to your songs and go get it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just never give up. Just keep on fighting. Never give up hope. Just never give up. So, the song was written to give inspiration and courage and hope, to everyone out there who's battling cancer. And I wanted a video for it. So I put together a video. I was using my iPhone and videoing stuff taken off on the airplane and asking everyone that I knew, children that we've helped through our organization and their parents, adults that we know that were fighting. Some folks had sent in their photos and then they passed. So we have people in the video who were alive, who had passed, who were still fighting, who had beat it, every stage of the cancer. And they're all, as many people, pretty much everyone in that video I know personally. And we wanted to bring in everyone that we knew so they would all get a piece of the action, and be recognized for their fight and their battle and their strength and courage, because they're all the warriors and the heroes. Everyone who's fighting out there, they're the real heroes. So, just wanted to give them that courage. And all of the proceeds from BflyLadyDi,
yes,
all of my music proceeds are all donated to the Ariel Anaker Cancer Foundation, which I named after my daughter. And the foundation's 12 years old now. So we help needy families that have children with cancer who are battling, and we pay their bills. So that's my main.
Oh my gosh, that's something.
Yeah, that's what real life matters. Right now I got a family that needs a car, and their car bombed out and it was repoed, and they can't afford to take their daughter to treatments. How are they going to get her to the hospital? And right now I'm trying to find someone in Tennessee, anybody in East Tennessee that would like to try to help us get this family a car.
Okay. So where can they send them? Where can they send the money or something if they have to send that?
Well, I have a website, and my website is ArielAnakerCF.org. That's ArielAnakerCF.org. We're on all social media. There's so many people that are fundraising on Facebook for us, so they do their birthday fundraisers.
Wow.
We get a lot of money through that. So please, folks, if you really want to do a birthday fundraiser, we'd be so, so, so grateful. That would be a big help.
So when these fundraisers,
contact me anytime.
Yeah, so these fundraisers and stuff, and then the song you have, do you go to the hospitals and you sing and you do that, or what do you do?
Before COVID, I used to go to the hospitals and try to visit, not only with the patients that we were helping, but, I started spreading out. I'm not just in Florida. I actually have 22 hospital partners now around the United States.
Okay.
And in the past, before COVID, that was part of the thing with Vince. I wanted to be able to get musical fundraisers with him, and we could go away with his sister and his brother and myself, and we would all go and do a musical fundraiser in other places. So we did 4 fundraisers in New Jersey, where I'm from. Actually, part of the filming of Just Never Give Up, the Cancer Fight Song, was in New Jersey at one of our fundraisers. Wow. My cousin's in South Carolina. She has a restaurant. So shout out to Debbie and Polo at Polo's Restaurant in Greenwood. We did a fundraiser with them, and we were able to help about 4 families out of Columbia, South Carolina. We did fundraisers, not just South Florida, but in other sections of Florida, Orlando, St. Petersburg. So, we started helping families there. And we're ready to, once this COVID lifts and we feel more comfortable traveling, we want to be able to get back out on the road and do more fun fundraisers and musical fundraisers in other cities. I know Donnie Walker and I have been talking about doing something in the Houston area because we are helping families out of MD Anderson.
Wow.
Yeah, I just picked up the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. I just helped a family out of Cincinnati. We're stretching out coast to coast.
Well, that's admirable of you. And I know your daughter is watching you, and she's living through the butterfly in this foundation. She's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we've got so many hats that we're wearing. Every day is an adventure for me. I wake up and, I'm like, what's on the agenda for the foundation? And then Vince and I have musical things that we're doing, and he's going to a gig and I'm driving him somewhere. And, then, there's all this function happening, and, and then I do all the artwork for the CD covers for him and myself, and anybody else that asks, we're gladly to, work with other people. We're doing music promo because, the promotion is a lot of work. So, he just put out he just did another smooth jazz song that he just put out. So,
so
he'll definitely want to do an interview.
So do you like jazz, or do you like R&B, or what?
Yeah, I love it both. And I love the combo because a lot of my songs have jazz chords in with the R&B rhythms. And, I just love the bass and I love the strings. And of course, with Vince being the saxophone player that he is, like, wow. Who wouldn't love that sexy sax,
Well, it belongs to you.
You got that right.
Let no man put asunder, nobody. No, but people got to understand that what's for you is for you.
Like we said, when it's our time, it's our time. And, we work very hard at our relationship because, like any relationship, it is a give and take. And, my parents were married for 70 years. They were
What?
together 73 years. They met when they were 15 and 17.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that's why my father, he's 90, and my heart is breaking for him every day because I just got off the phone with him earlier, and it's just shy of 12 weeks that mom passed.
Yes.
And he does not have a grip, and he's just so distraught because when you're with someone every day for 73 years, we can't imagine that kind of relationship. I would like to think, and I told my father, I'd like to think that, Vince and we're in love and we have this incredible relationship. And God forbid something happened to him, I would be distraught as well. But I didn't have 73 years with him. And I think that losing my daughter and grieving for 21 years without my daughter and knowing what that grief is like, because nobody should ever lose a child and have to bury a child. I think I can get by. I think I could somehow get through my grief and regroup in some way. So, but my dad is just really not doing that great right now. So I'll send a lot of prayers to him and hope that, he'll be doing better. So that's what's happening right now.
Well, we're back. I don't know what happened there, but yeah. So for just continue on what you were saying, your father was 90.
So my father, being 90, has lost my mom after 12 weeks. It's only been 12 weeks, and he's really not doing very well with his grief. So, it's been very difficult for him. And I'm sure, like, we can't really imagine what it's like having a relationship for 73 years. I'd say to him, Daddy, I lost my mom that I had for 56 years, my whole life.
Right.
But, that's not the love of my life like you, where the whole world revolved around my mom.
Wow.
And, raising us children and everything was my mom. My father put my mother on a pedestal, and, she had a glorious, glorious life at 88, for 88 years. And God had other plans. And that's why I tell him, God had other plans. We're here on this earth for a reason. We don't know when is our time. Vince said he has a pocket of skip me cards. So he's trying to skip the line when they call his number. But, I just tell Dad we have a purpose. So we have to figure that out.
Well, we're back.
It's okay. I'm pausing.
Okay. So what happened? You said you're here. You said that your mother's here for a certain amount of time.
Well, I was saying that, God puts us on earth for a reason, and we're all here for a purpose. And, with my father, it was unexpected that my mother was going to go so quickly, but that he still is here and he has a purpose. He's our dad. We need him. We love him.
Right.
And, and he doesn't want to hear it. So
he doesn't want to hear that part.
No, he's just too sad. So let's just.
So does he live far from you then, or does he live far? Is he in Florida too?
Yes, my father's about 30 minutes away, but I have a sister that's very close by him, and he visits her daily. So she's been picking up a big portion of that, help for him. But I talk to him a lot.
Yeah, well, that's okay. It's not okay that he's feeling like that, but he just has to pull himself out of it. You know what I mean?
It takes time, and he's hoping that, every day he's like, I hope I'll be able to get by this, I said, takes time, Dad. Just takes time. But we're here. We're here for him. I said, you've been here, our rock. You've been our rock for our whole life, and now it's our turn to be here for you because, I'm your rock. So you come to me now.
Right. So who would you like to work with, BflyLadyDi, that you haven't worked with?
Well, the only person I've worked with seriously is with Vince because he's the only, writer producer that I know. I'm more than willing to work with anyone that would like to work with me, but my door's always open. And but I do love Celine Dion, and
Okay.
I have a connection with her because she spoke to my daughter on the last day of my daughter's life.
Wow.
We were very big fans. So that's one of my Canadian connections is with Celine.
Wow.
Yeah, and her husband, God rest his soul, Renee, he was just so wonderful during that time and before he passed. And so I want to shout out to Celine. We love you and thank you for your graciousness. And they were wonderful people. But I also have a connection with Canada because of my skincare company as a beauty consultant with Alouette Cosmetics because they have
Oh,
I don't know if you're familiar with Alouette,
yeah, I've
but
heard of
oh, good. Yay. So I've been with them for 37 years.
it.
And
What?
yeah, my skincare, my makeup is all Alouette, 100%.
That's made out
And
of aloe, I think, or something, right?
yes, it is. Our base product is aloe, and it's definitely doing something right. I know I have nice skin, but
But it's working, right?
something's working. But you got to be consistent. So, takes time and it takes work.
Yes,
Morning
it
and
does.
night. Morning and night. So,
Morning and night.
yeah, I don't know. Anybody that would like to work with me, I'm more than willing to work with them. I just love R&B work and, love that music. But, I'm an old school type of girl, DBoss. You
Yes,
know, I'm
I
not
like old
really
school too.
about this new stuff that's coming out as far as
Yeah,
the auto tune stuff and,
not
no
using your real
instruments.
voice.
No. I mean, I gave
So,
you a little sample of my real voice, and that's totally raw, coming straight off raw. There's no fixing on this YouTube.
you didn't have time to put in a mix in it. So what about your what's the most craziest things that happened to you while you're performing?
Oh, let's see now. The craziest thing that happened while I was performing? Hmm. Wow. I wouldn't want to throw anybody under the bus because that really that would be totally unprofessional. But we had a few little quirky things that have happened in the past with. I suppose it's just playing instruments and things like that where some of the musicians I've worked with have played some really off notes and you know nothing really to speak of. For the most part,
So
things
you
have
didn't.
really
So you
gone
didn't.
well.
So you. What did you do? Was it live? They were doing that, and then you okay. You
Yeah,
can't say anything. Oh,
no, definitely not. I mean, listen, I sang at last at one of my shows, and they decided to have a sax player come in instead of a violinist. Not good.
mm.
That really wasn't a wise move. But if you overlook that part, the rest of the song went great. No.
Okay. And what's your highest moment of your career?
The highest moment of my career so far was probably being number one right last week on Reverb Nation, not just locally, but also regionally. But that
Wow.
also happened last year. So it's really twice. It's happened two times already that I've
Wow.
been
Back to
number
back.
one back to back within a year. Just having my songs number one on certain charts, that's always, a huge highlight. And I think honestly getting over 5,000 views on my video so far. I'm just like, whoa, we hit 5,000 views, you know, like I'm very humble. I really am very, very humble. I just think that anybody that can appreciate good music and would like to download and, you know, donate to us and, you know, be able to help other people, that's what it's really all about.
So what more can we expect from BflyLadyDi?
Well, we can expect more music for sure. Right now, after my mom, well, it was really right before my mother passed. You know, the pancreatic cancer just really hit her very, very quickly. Within like 6 weeks, she was gone, pretty much. From when we really found out. We found out last April or May that there was a spot, but we didn't know to what extent it was. And then September, we really found out what was going on, and 6 weeks later, my mom was gone. But around September, Vince and I were planning out my next EP. And at the same time, it was, and I really don't really want to talk about that whole COVID thing with the vaccines and blah, 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 because it's just so controversial. But, you know, I went and got my shots, and my mom, you know, we really didn't want to get our shots. You know, we felt that our immune systems were strong enough to try to go with this without it. But my family, you know, if you want to be around mom and dad, you know, they're 80, 90 years old, you really got to get your shots. And I'm like, okay. So I bit the bullet and I got it. And Vince also wanted to be able to be with my parents and see them. So he wound up getting it too. Unfortunately for Vince, he had a very, very bad reaction to the second shot. And his lymph nodes swelled under his arm and it pushed on nerves. And he got numb, like on the two fingers, his ring finger and his pinky finger.
Wow.
And those, that nerve, I guess I don't want to say damage because it's slowly coming back, but the problems that he's been having, he needs to go and get testing and an MRI and neurology, you know, treatment and stuff, because he can't play his saxophone the way he was, and he can't play the keyboards the way he was because of the inability to move his fingers right now. So that put all music on hold.
Okay.
And the music that he just released was already finished prior to him getting the shot. He already has music in his portfolio that he could release at any time. So he spaces it out, you know, and decides when he wants to release music. So the song Slow Walk that he just put out right now, he had already finished, you know, it was already done. So for me, I just have to wait, hope and pray every minute that he completely recovers. But you know, we can get back to work and, you know, work on the next EP, because we had 4 or 5 songs on the agenda, you know, to move forward for 2022. And once that project is complete and we're ready to release it, I was looking forward to trying to put my new show together. So that's where I was looking to go. And now it's on hold. Oof, getting warm.
Well, we're here.
Hi.
I don't know what's going on today. I don't know if it's an overload and everybody using the internet because everybody's at home. But anyway, that's all right. So I hope that he gets better.
Yes,
And,
let's hope
you
and
know,
pray that Vince gets better because we definitely want to move forward with the EP. And, until he's 100%, we won't be able to do that. So everything's on hold until Vince can get well.
all right. So are there any shout outs that you want to give anybody?
Well, I will shout out to, once again, Donnie Walker. Thank you so very much for this connection. I'm thrilled to be able to meet DBoss and be on the show. I'd like
you gotta
to
come back. You gotta come back also when your EP drops.
Oh, I would love to come back. Anytime you'd
You
like
and
to have
Vince.
me, I'm
You and
there.
Vince. Have you
Oh,
and
yeah,
Vince.
we'll definitely be there. And I'm
All
sure that
right.
he would love to meet you as well. I will shout out to Vince and say how much I love you and thank you for all you do for my music and the foundation. I have my 2 sons, Michael and Andrew. I love you, boys, and 25 and 27. They're big boys. Also musicians, by the way. I'll have to send you their stuff too. And
Yeah, we gotta have them on too. So
yeah, we're like a family affair.
I know we'll have a whole family. So where can people find you if they want to reach out to you? BflyLadyDi.
BflyLadyDi right here on
Yes.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm on all social media, and you can find my foundation, ArielAnnekerCF.org. My phone number is 954-249-5748. That is for the foundation and for BflyLadyDi. Text me, and whatever I can do to help you, let me know. And if you know a cancer family that has a child that's battling and needs help and they're financially struggling, please let us know. And we would like to help them. And please support indie artists because we're working real hard out here. And, we love your support. It means the world to us, to every DJ in the world who's playing BflyLadyDi. Mwah! Thank you so very much. I love you all.
All right. Well, we want to thank you, BflyLadyDi, and we're going to thank all the viewers tonight for watching Real Life Matters with BFly. Support her, follow her, do all the above. All right. So thank you, BflyLady, and bye for now.
Thank you so much.